Atma here, back for, well, Eldritch Moon deck techs. It's no surprise that the first obvious choice is White Humans Aggro. There's a few changes from before. I took out one Anointer of Champions. I took out all of the Cleric of the Forward Orders, and in their place I've put Selfless Spirit because Indestructible is so important. Despite Indestructible being so important, I did cut one Make the Stand, but that's all to make extra room for to Thalia, 2 Collected Effort, which is almost like just another pump, +1/+1, but it also kills things. This is an amazing card. Kills things, destroys opposing always watching, pumps the whole team, and Gideon pumps the whole team still. Angelic Destiny I've left in instead of just putting Avacyn in. I don't actually necessarily think it's better, but this is actually pretty amazing. Flying in first strike that returns to your hand is quite amazing when you're already aggro. Main reason I don't want to put Avacyn in is topping out at 4 with 2 4 costs is it keeps them land low. I could actually put 20 in, but I put 21 in because of the Westvale Abbey's kind of not being a land that does anything except for flip into a guy, so those are basically the changes, but it's the same as ever. Even though we have 5 spirits, it's still a humans deck. Topplegeist is very important for pushing through the Consul's Lieutenant and Topan Freeblade. You know, that gives you the free wins. There's 7 guys. Sometimes they get stonewalled. Being able to tap them down is good, and the 1/1 flyer is reasonable with all these pumps, like always watching and collected effort. So we'll play a couple games. I don't know how well they'll go, but they usually go well. This deck is still extremely susceptible to Languish. It's way less susceptible to Planar Outburst because there's even more indestructible stuff, but it is degeneratively overpowered. Sometimes a pretty reasonable amount of time you'll have a 1-drop and a 2-drop and a 3-drop. And then if you happen to have a 4-drop or some kind of crazy follow-up play like a kill spell, it's pretty unfair. This is not the greatest hand, but the main reason why is because it has 4 lands, and that's not ideal in a deck that tops out at 4. But nevertheless, it's a keep because you know, you got a Mythic, you got a rare that gets activated by the deck, humans, and kill spell in case we get in trouble, pump the guys in case we get in trouble. Usually the destroy target enchantment is destroying opposing always watchings, but we'll have to see. We have no idea what our opponent's playing because he's held up both of these Evolving Wilds. He's probably trying to sandbag a Languish. He doesn't want to show us that he's black yet, so we overextend, but we'll just operate under the assumption that he is black and not play too insane. There's blue. There's white. I don't know what blue-white plays nothing till turn 3 means. Could be counter spells and spirits still, I guess, but there are a lot of cheap spirits, so it's a little awkward for him. This could easily be a spell queller. We'll tread lightly. Even though we have the Make a Stand, I would rather not. So we'll just get in for 3 and play nothing. Alright, so we do got the spirits plan. This time we'll play into the spell queller by playing this Topplegeist first. Hexproof. This time I will attack with both and make a stand because, oh, I can't. Okay. It's probably not worth it then. I'm gonna collected effort instead. Make all the guys bigger. Now that he has Rattle Chains, he can flash in any spirit, so none of our attacks are going to be spectacular. I'm going to go to combat, see if he wastes mana to tap down. He does. We'll make our giant guy. I think it's better to put flying on this, so if he bounces it, we can pump this again. If he has bounce spells, you always want to think about the possibility of being able to get some value out of recasting. And usually it's this guy, but in this case... Okay, so there is like the bounce spell du jour, because he gets to just minus and kill this thing. Pretty much has to. I'm going to all-out attack against this Jace, because that bounce is annoying. He'll probably block and we'll get to kill some of his things. Sold. So this time we will plus 2. No, we'll make an indestructible spirit. Although he can tap it down probably. I guess that does just kill our Kytheon, but what are you gonna do? He has to play a spirit in order to safely get in. He could attack with everything, I guess, and bounce one of his things. I guess that's what he's opted to do. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to make him do this one. If I do this one and he bounces this spirit and replays it, then he can't like do something to Hanweir Militia Captain. Long road home, okay. I guess that's a mana efficient way of doing the same thing. Because it returns to the battlefield. I think at his end step. Oh, imprisoned in the moon? That is pretty annoying. That actually turns off everything that we wanted. That's so rough. Wow. That was amazing. His turn. His turn was just so good. I want to play this Thalia. I want to attack. So what do I do? Since he's tapped out, he may just take 6. He does not take 6. Okay. Randomly getting Delirium's hilarious. I think this is the first time I've ever gotten Delirium with Topplegeist on board. It's not even a joke. It's never once happened. In this deck, anyway. So he's going to flash guys in. But they can't block. So that's okay. Well, he gets to tap 2 of our guys, which is just absolutely insane. That was just the absolute most perfect thing he could have drawn. I'm going to keep this Topplegeist around, so we'll just get in for 2. Well, yeah. This has actually been a very interesting game. Much more interesting than I would have anticipated. So he can make a... Oh, yeah, that comes in tapped. That's pretty rough. That was an insane draw. Yeah. We were getting there. But that's this deck. White Humans had the best record of all my decks. And it didn't get significantly better, but it got some percentage better. Thalia being a human is unfair. Selfless Spirit is valuable. And actually Collected Effort has been one of the most crushing effects. The times when I've destroyed a creature, when I've destroyed their biggest creature, killed an enchantment, and pumped all my guys in a single turn, more often than I've done any one of those things by itself. Like, it's pretty insane how often you just use all 3 pieces of that for 3 mana, and they just quit. Like, it's just too backbreaking. In this case, we only pumped our guys +1/+1, but sometimes that's how it's, that's what's called for in the moment. This is another hand I'm not in love with, but it's actually better than the last one, because usually you want Topan Freeblade into Thalia or Topan Freeblade into Nimbus Wings or something like that, so that's good, but there is a good amount of 1-drops, and it's nice to be just that much, 2 points extra aggressive is important. Black-green is usually... Languish, like I said, Languish is a problem. You're just going to lose to Languish, but the percentage of people who have Languish and the percentage of those decks that have Languish on turn 4 is small enough to where you'll usually just win games anyway. Okay, so this is going to be a Delirium deck, obviously. I actually think Nimbus Wings plus Expedition Envoy is better, because you want to get Topes into 5 toughness territory so that their Languish actually doesn't punish it. That's actually why Nimbus Wings is so good in the deck, is this exact situation. Like, I know it seems fringe to just, there's 4 Topan Freeblades, there's, however many amount of Nimbus Wings. There used to be 3 or 4, but now there's 3. But getting it to a 4/5 is very important, because now he's digging for his Languish. He wants to hit his Languish, but Languish isn't good enough anymore. So now he has to, Languish our Thalia and our Expedition Envoy, but then he needs another answer for Freeblade. So that's all very important stuff. Even though playing double Selfless Spirit here is technically superior, I'm going to just play the Thalia, because Selfless Spirit, indestructible, actually does not beat Languish. Like, Languish just kills everything anyway, so you don't want to lose both of them. And it's easier to attack with the first strike creature. If he has Languish, he definitely, I think, casts it here anyway. Okay. That's actually weird in Delirium. That actually makes me want... The fact that he played white makes me want to play out the Selfless Spirit, so I'm going to do that. In fact, I think I play both of them. We get punished so bad for against Languish. I think we play both of them. Okay. So he had Planar Outburst, and he saw Selfless Spirit and called it in. He was playing some weird Abzan something, I'm not really sure. This is kind of the way the deck works. Like, you get the right combination of early drops, and they stumble in whatever pattern, and they just lose the game. They get mad and move on to the next game, which is reasonable. I would quit too in some cases. That Spirits deck held on a lot longer than I thought it would. That's actually a good matchup for us. They can't really block a lot of our things very profitably. All they can do is tap down, and he had a good draw with the Rattle Chains and Nebelgasts. They're very important for slowing our draws down, but without those things exactly. And he lost anyway. See, this hand is good though, but I'm a little nervous about this land. We do get to go second. We do get a free 7, so we'll try mulligan. It's certainly worse, but it'll serve. Finding some 2 drop off the top would be excellent. I hate playing Topplegeist, tapping down nothing, or tapping down nothing that matters, just to get in 1, but with always watching, I will play it out so that I can have two flying vigilance on turn 3. Abzan something. Probably Delirium. This usually goes in the Delirium. Angelic Destiny. That's a pretty good draw in this case, if he's going to kill our stuff. So obviously the best draw would be he plays a creature that costs 3 mana and we get collected effort off the top so we can kill this thing and save our guy. But I suspect that won't happen since it's a rare and there's only 2 of them. More than likely he'll just leave up this black mana no matter what. We can't ever cast Angelic Destiny until he doesn't have a black up, is the unfortunate thing. We do get to attack here, which is nice. We could also alternatively just Declaration in Stone that thing. That's actually nice too. I think I want to just be aggressive. This will just be 4 damage, or 5 even. I'm surprised he's even considering blocking. Yeah, I didn't think so. Next turn, if we're lucky, we'll get to do one of these things. Either Selfless Spirit and kill Nissa, or just Angelic Destiny and let him attempt to keep up with our aggro. Okay. So he'll probably kill this Anointer. That leaves the door open for Angelic Destiny. And I absolutely would give a flyer +4/+4 flying in first strike, especially now that I have Vigilance. Although, would I do it against 3 open mana? What punishes me here? 3 open mana. Celestial Flare? There's no instant speed. The only thing that really gets us is Celestial Flare. But we can't really beat that anyway. I think it's better to just go for this. Because if all he had was Gideon's Reproach, then we play around Gideon's Reproach. But there was no way we were going to beat Celestial Flare, so there's no point. Deck and Stone. It's actually good. We needed to draw. It didn't die though, so it went to the graveyard. Usually we get it back. It's pretty irritating. But nevertheless. So we'll Topplegeist. Selfless Spirit. So almost no matter what, we're going to Declaration in Stone this thing. I really don't like facing off against Planeswalkers if we can help it. Sorin we may have to deal with, but I would rather not. Just let him draw cards. Languish. Okay, so that just absolutely blew us out. As I said, like, the deck is very vulnerable to Languish. There's nothing that can be done ever about it. Because none of the indestructible effects help it. Avacyn doesn't even, like, help you. It's just, it's the card that beats this deck. And I'll accept my Languish losses from time to time. So that's a big thing, and it's not that big of a deal. It's not as big a deal as some of the other things he could play, but I think I Declaration and Stone it anyway, just because the life total that we're facing down is pretty low. And we're pretty live to just draw something to win. Now he has to play another big attacker because his 3/3 or our 3/3 first strike beats his 2/2 death touch. He's got to have a hell of a last two cards in hand at this point. Not out of the question though. Could have something. Ever After. Okay, so that gets back Nissa, and so we have to deal with a 4/4. It's pretty good. So I assume that the deck our opponent is playing does the thing with the angels where he just ever afters back the angels and wins the game. It's a very common strategy. Yep, he makes the 4/4, so now we can't kill the Nissa. It's pretty smart. We're kind of fucked there, but what are you gonna do? We're live to just Ormondal and win also, so we'll attempt to do that as slowly as humanly. Ooh. We can't activate this and Gideon. If he attacks this 4/4 into Gideon, I think I chump block with the 1/1 rather than trying to trade a bunch of stuff. Also, if our opponent's deck has, like, Ulamog, it's also terrible. Because, I mean, anytime, like, an aggro deck like ours lets them get to 10 mana, it's already a loss, usually. But right now, we're kind of just banking on this Ormondal getting there. And now that he has a flyer, it's certainly a worse situation. We're so close to Ormondaling, though. I'd love to attack with Gideon, but it doesn't look like it's going to be an option with these 1/1s. It seems like a waste. Oh, now we can kill Gideon? Maybe we have to attack just to prevent Gideon from dying. Declaration in Stone. Wow, this guy just had everything. So he kills the 3/3. No, he doesn't. Okay. Well, now we're not close to Ormondaling because our opponent just played 4 things this turn. I don't even know how we can win anymore. That's how bad that went. That was the most amazing turn I've ever seen. We drew a land. It's just not ideal. Any scenario whatsoever. Alright, so if we attack with Knight, he loses one thing. If we attack with Gideon, he loses one thing. If we attack with both, he loses one thing. Okay. So we're going to attack with both. So we'd like him to lose the Selfless Spirit. It's amazing how we went from, oh, we're going to Ormondal and win this game, to we can't win this game, like in a second. That's what planeswalkers that draw you cards do, is they win games. So we're not going to block. The fact that he had Declaration in Stone for this Angelic Destiny was very lucky on his part. It was also very lucky that he had Selfless Spirit and Declaration in Stone and 2 creatures, and just everything that he had was insane. There's another land, so we lost. That happened. Amazingly, we're still live to win the game because he could make a mistake. Like, if we got him to, what, 2 somehow, and then flew over when he attacked with Bygone Bishop, could just randomly win. We drew a lot of the correct things and probably lost anyway, which is sad. This is an all-out attack followed by a creature to block with, which is insane. But dead weight, it's just insult to injury. Oh, and I just accidentally tapped for... okay. Yep. That was insane. We'll play one more, though. Abzan's still a good deck. But it's like I said in the beginning, like, any game where you get languished, you're an underdog, and any game where they don't have languish in their hand or they don't have it in their deck, you're probably favored to win every single game that they don't have languish. And you're a favorite to lose every single game where they languish. We still could have won that game. He actually had to have the Declaration in Stone and all that crazy stuff that he had that one turn when we had 3 creatures out. Alright, so this is insane, but I'm going to keep this hand because the upside is too high if we draw a land right off the top. But we have 2... See, the thing is we have 2 turns to draw a second land. And we have 20 lands remaining in the deck. Which means we have, yeah, see, we had a super high probability of getting there. With 53 cards, and 20 of them are lands, we had more than a 3% chance to get it off the first draw, and then we get a second chance. We get two more than 30% chances. It was like somewhere in the 37 to 38% or whatever. So that's pretty good for getting a land. The deck we're playing against has a lot of burn, so you got to be careful about like twin bolt type stuff. And because of that, if we were to draw a third land, I would play an Always Watching instead of Topplegeist and something else. If he plays a blocker, I'd play Topplegeist. That's maybe too big of a blocker. I don't know. I definitely think Always Watching would be the play, for sure. If we get a third land. Because he can chump block if he wants. That's perfectly acceptable. And it's mainly just because I don't want to get twin bolted. Like if you play out 2 1/1s, it's just bad news. So plus this blocks his Thopter and everything else. He probably won't block here. These blue-red decks just love their Thopter engineers. They want that haste so badly, they just never give it up. If he goes one turn without Exquisite Firecrafting, this Topan Freeblade is going to be hurting pretty badly. I think if we get another land, Selfless Spirit plus Thalia's Lieutenant is probably the way to go, just to prevent the burn from hosing us. Yeah, see, they love this aggro. They don't care. That was a bad move, though. He definitely should have tried to block. There's just no way that he's going to win by attacking. It's not happening. So there's a land. Yep, we want to get more things on board, so... This works out perfectly because next turn we can Always Watching and Topplegeist if he thinks he's going to block, which, incidentally, that's not going to happen. But so I think we incur a chump block here from the Whirler Rogue, because like I said, they won't give up this haste. Oh, he kept both? Very strange. I don't know what... There's no way he can win this game if he plays like that. What rank is he? 22? Yeah, that makes sense. So this video's run about 33 minutes, and I think that's enough to kind of see the way that this deck just curves out and wins really quickly. And it's a rank 40 deck. I mean, obviously this is rank 38 right now, but that's because I've been experimenting with other decks, and sometimes they don't work out right away, so I'm not going to just sit at 40 constantly, but that's the deck, and yeah, I mean, like and subscribe and comment. Leave comments. I wish people would leave comments, even if it's to just tell me how wrong I pronounce mana or Yulamog or whatever the hell gripe they have. I want to feel like people are watching my videos, man. Let me know. Let me know I'm a piece of shit. Tell me I suck. Alright. I'm going to have more decks coming up. I know there's been a little bit of a lapse, but it's so hot I never feel like doing anything, and sitting at the computer is just like a sweaty mess in this leather chair, so yep, that's Las Vegas 110-degree heat for you. Till next time, Kreider out.